Algebra 2, this is section R3, and actually I had forgotten when I presented R2, R2 is dividing, R3, or R2 is multiplying, R3 is dividing. So the rules are going to be similar. You can go ahead and pause this real quick and fill in the blanks if you'd like. The one thing I do want to point out is the distributive property here for dividing. It means that denominator needs to apply to both the A and the B. So just keep that in mind. And then I also put this in here. It's been on, I think, all 3 of our lesson notes so far, but it's just super important. So I'm going to go through this quickly. Example 1A, when you're dividing, we're pretty much going to be writing division as a fraction. And I have 2 negative signs, so this is going to become positive 3. Okay, letter B, on 15 divided by a fraction. So when you're dividing by a fraction, you multiply by the reciprocal. So we need to change this to 15, leave the 15, times negative 2/3. Okay, and now we can reduce. This becomes 1, this becomes 5. There's 1 negative sign total, so the final answer should be negative 10. All right, next we have a large division bar, and this you want to think of as a grouping symbol. So when you have this situation, and it's all numbers, you want to do the top and then the bottom separately and divide last. So I'm going to do that. 9 divided by negative 3 becomes negative 3. And then I have negative 1 squared, which is positive 1, times a negative 3. So that's going to give me negative 3 over negative 3, which will become positive 1. All right, next. Again, with this division bar, I'm going to do the top and the bottom separately, and then I will divide last. 4 squared is 16, minus 5 squared is 25. And then negative 4 plus negative 5, that same signs add. Keep the sign, so keep it negative 9. 16 minus 25 is 9, negative. So negative 9 over negative 9 equals positive 1. You don't always have to put the plus sign there. I'm just doing that for emphasis. Okay. Example 4 I'm going to do, and then I actually want to do one more before we get to example 4. So I need to make one up here. I'm going to do 3x minus 7 all over, here's my last example, so squeeze it in. 3x minus 7 all over negative, actually, hold on. Sorry, not 7. Let's do 9. 3x minus 9 all over negative 3. Okay, so this is going to kind of relate to the distributive property that we had up above, but I want to show you how to simplify something. Generally, mathematicians do not feel comfortable having a negative on the bottom of a fraction. That's like leaving it unreduced. Plus, 3 can divide into both 3 and 9. So I want to reduce that, and there's 2 ways to do this. So number 1, I'm actually going to reduce this part, and that's going to become negative 1x. And then I can reduce this part, including the negative, which would be negative 9 divided by negative 3, which is positive 3. So you got to switch the signs when you have a negative on the bottom, just like you have to switch the signs when you have a negative outside parentheses. All right, here's another option. What if I also had 3x minus 7 like I did before? So now the 3 divides into 3, but it doesn't divide into 7. So sometimes you might see this. So we can reduce this part. That becomes negative 1x, and then minus, actually not minus, it's going to become a plus, because now I have 2 negative signs, plus 7 over 3. So it's like I reduced the first half, but I couldn't reduce the second half because 3 doesn't divide into 7. All right, I'm going to do one more example. And this is example 4. I'm going to zoom in for this because I'm going to need more space. Okay, so this one's crazy, I know, but don't be scared. Okay, 4/9 minus 2/9. That is going to give me 2/9. So So that's what I have first. And these brackets here say, hey, do this first. And they're just changing the shape of the parentheses so you don't go cross-eyed. All right, next parenthesis is 2/3 minus 2/3. So this actually is 2/3 plus 2/3, which is 4/3. And then that's supposed to be squared. All over 5/9 divided by, well, when it's divided by, I need to multiply it by the reciprocal. So I'm going to flip that to be times -3/10. Okay. All right, so I've gotten a little bit simpler. Let's do the next step. I need to square this. So 2/9 times 16/9 all over negative. I've got one negative sign, so I'm going to write it out front. And let's also reduce this. So this can be 1 and 3. 5 goes into 10, 1 and 2. So on the bottom, I'm left with a -1/6. All right, don't be scared yet. We can do this. All right, on the top, I'm going to have 32/81. There's nothing that can be reduced. All over 1/6, and it's negative. Okay, next step. When you divide, so look at, I'm dividing this fraction by another fraction. To do that, that is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So I'm going to take, that's how I'm going to write it. Now I can just multiply like normal. And I can reduce 6 and 81. 3 goes into 6 twice. 3 goes into 81 27 times. So now I'm going to be left with a negative 64/27. So this is kind of a crazy problem, but it's good to know. I'll just do one step at a time, and it's doable. All right, that's it for now. Have a great day. Bye.